Welcome back to West Texas View.
Oh my, Dr. Natalia has just given us such good information about what happens in the womb when you're pregnant and your baby is being given nutrients through the placenta, and what happens if you don't eat right, if you drink, if you smoke, if you are obese, if you're under stress. And let's talk about stress. But the most interesting thing that she said, the whole first part of the program, is that boys and girls react differently in the womb. So now go continue that conversation.
All right. Not only boys are reacting differently in the womb, their placenta is built up differently. And in a matter of fact, if you are measuring placenta, and this work was done by David Barker in the United Kingdom, he is a big name in the fetal programming. He showed that our placenta, how we develop our placenta in utero, will influence our life later on at age of 50 or 60 years old. It will influence our probability of having stroke, high blood pressure, myocardial infarction, diabetes, and so on. So he showed, it was very interesting study. So if we are measuring placenta has usually shape as an oval or shape as a just like pancake. And you are measuring the diameter of the longest diameters and shortest diameters of the placenta. So the shortest diameters of placenta in boys predicts the probability of the stroke in men at age of 60 or 70.
Oh my goodness.
So we are just scratching, we are in the beginning to understand how our understanding of this placenta development.
What that tells us.
What does it tell us? What does it tell us how we could use this information and prevent stroke later on? How we could preserve this information? And it's actually, we are understanding now that we don't know enough to make these conclusions, to make this valuable recommendation, or maybe save life of somebody if we know how to use this information.
And as you're learning more through your research, then we'll be able to teach and educate our pregnant women. And tell me, have you done any research on teenagers or adolescents having babies? Does that make any difference in the placenta? Or have you got to that point yet?
I didn't get to this point yet. However, for example, undernutrition research, which I did before, it's a model of the teenage pregnancy. And I know a lot of researchers all over the world. I'm a member of the International Federation of Placental Association, which includes researchers from the Europe, from the South America, the Africa, North America, and Australia. I know that researchers in the United Kingdom, they did great studies in the teenage pregnancies, and our model of the undernutrition fits very well in their conclusion what they found out in the teenage pregnancies in the United Kingdom. So what happened during teenage pregnancies? That the mom is still growing. Mom requires the
more nutrition
and micro elements and so on, and baby is growing as well. And here, who is between mom and baby? Placenta. Placenta is trying to make peace with everybody because baby and mom are competing with each other for nutrients. Baby is telling, listen, I need to grow here, I need nutrients.
And I've got a brain to develop.
And mom body tells, listen, I need to grow too, I need my nutrients. And placenta is trying to make peace for everybody. And this is a big problem, that the placenta is not developing normally. So what is interesting and fascinating about placenta, that during development, placenta represents baby's brain, because placenta is the source of baby major hormones which we are usually as adults are using for our brain, like serotonin. Serotonin is a happiness hormone which is influencing our mood, and if we're eating, for example, dark chocolate and feeling happy, this is thanks to the serotonin in our brain. So baby's brain could not produce serotonin. The placenta is the one which is producing serotonin, and just not simply passing it through the mom to baby. It's really producing serotonin, happiness hormone, and developing it to the baby. So it's essential to have happy placentas, right? In order to have happy and healthy babies. But how to influence this production of the happiness hormones by the placenta, it's not a lot of knowing. But what we know is that, for example, and we published also this study, Dr. Peter Nathaniels recently published, that maternal undernutrition decreases production of this happiness hormone in placenta. So maternal overnutrition influences this production as well. Maternal environment will influence, like a sunlight. Sunlight is essential for the baby's development. We keep on forgetting this. We are the sunny state, we are in the West Texas, but people are keeping forgetting that we are sitting mostly inside. We are indoor population, and it's essential for us, for mom, to give the sunlight, because it will stimulate production of the vitamin D, and the vitamin D will influence this happiness hormone, of the serotonin production in the placenta. So it's
and my gynecologist said vitamin D is one of the major problems for most.
Absolutely, it's very surprisingly, very surprisingly. I have my collaborator, Dr. Angie Slominski, in the University of Alabama at Birmingham. He is a world specialist, world guru in the vitamin D. So he could talk about vitamin D hours and hours. So what it affects in your life, how vitamin D affects your life. Yeah, it affects everything, and especially, of course, my organ of interest is placenta. It especially affects your placenta. We showed in this study, we are preparing a manuscript for the publication. We showed that decreased exposure to the sunlight could cause increased aggression in the animals at the age where our human babies are teenagers. So now we have connection to our generation, to our teenagers. Maybe the aggression is, some of them, it's not their fault, but it's could be tracked back when mom had not enough sunlight.
Gosh, we've got so much more to talk about. We're going to have Dr. Natalia back here next week. We'll see you then.
Thanks for joining us for News West 9's West Texas View with Johnny Lou Avery. This has been a public affairs presentation of KWAB-TV and KWES-TV.